Back at you with another video here for the NBA main site here on Sunday. We got a pretty decent slate today, so real quick, let's see how we did last night. So last night I hit all my cash games as well as my GPPs, so it was a pretty good night here. I do want to apologize for not uploading a video yesterday. I was on the road most of the day, so I could not find the time to get a video in. I did tweet out though, some of the plays that I really liked, and most of those guys were in my lineup here. So my final lineup here was Devin Booker, Brad Beal, Oubre, Siakam, Greg Monroe, Satoransky, Draymond, and Kyle Lowry. So once Lowry was rolled in, and then Kawhi Leonard and Ibaka were out, it was pretty easy plug and play with Lowry, Siakam, and Greg Monroe. Monroe got in a little foul trouble, but didn't kill you for 17. Siakam, just too cheap with those guys out of the offense. Same thing with Lowry. The frustrating thing was the Toronto Stars got pulled like 7 minutes left. It turned into a blowout. So if they could have just kept it close, it could have been a huge night because Lowry, Monroe, Siakam missed out on about 6-7 minutes or so. And then the Phoenix-Washington game, I was all over this game. I got a little lucky with it going to triple overtime, but nonetheless, Booker, Beal, all these guys, Satoransky, Oubre, they're all already getting there, even without the overtime. So the overtimes were just like a little extra. So I just really like this game. Beal with no wall, Satoransky with no wall. Kelly Oubre, I wanted to get Ariza, just couldn't fit him, so I had to settle on Kelly Oubre. It was a little revenge game, and then Booker just seemed a little too cheap. And then Draymond also, I tweeted about him, just way too cheap. Draymond at 6K or so, that's just way too cheap for Draymond. So good night on Friday, good night last night. So I'm starting to get a little winning streak going here. So let's look into the slate really quick for tonight. Okay, so we got 9 games here. So let's look at the over-unders really quick. So the top 2 are not in the slate. And yeah, obviously the Pelicans-Kings and the Clippers-Golden State games are the 2 games I really want to target. And all the other games, yeah, okay, but I always trust Vegas. I really want to target this Pelicans-Kings game especially. And then the Clippers-Golden State, the only issue is, can the Clippers keep it close? Maybe, I don't know. There's a concern that Golden State could run off the court. So, all right, let's look into it. Westbrook just has not really been looking good here recently. He did have that 70 fantasy point game against the Kings, but other than that, just really has not been shooting the ball well. It's just been the Paul George show here. So I think Westbrook, I think he could go a little under-owned here. He really has not been playing good, but I think Westbrook might, like I said, might go pretty low-owned. So I think he could be worth a shot here in GPPs. Steph Curry seems priced about right at 9.7K. Definitely still has upside. I mean, this guy also has upside, a huge upside anytime he takes the court. If he's knocking down those long threes, if he's feeling it, he can put up 70 fantasy points easily. So Steph Curry in a favorable match against the Clippers, priced under 10K, I think looks pretty appealing. Then we got Jrue Holiday here. So we got no Alfred Payton and no Mirotic, I believe. Is he doubtful again? Doubtful, yeah. So don't expect Mirotic to play again. So we got Jrue Holiday, Julius Randle, and Anthony Davis in a dream matchup here against the Kings. I absolutely love this game. Jrue Holiday, I know he's priced up to 9K. Doesn't matter. I'm going with Jrue Holiday again. The matchup is just so good. The Kings play no defense. So I really, really like Jrue Holiday today. Devin Booker, love playing Devin Booker, but I'm just concerned about the triple overtime game last night. He played 55 minutes, Devin Booker did. So I think the legs are going to be a little tired. So the matchup is good against Brooklyn, but I'm just too concerned that a lot of these Phoenix guys are just going to be worn out. So I'm just staying away from Phoenix for now. Doncic, I think, did he exit the game? I'm pretty sure he exited the game late. Yeah, doubtful to return. So if he ends up missing, that could open up a lot of things here for Dallas. Right now, there's no injury news here, but if he ends up missing, we would have to go back and look at a lot of these like Dallas value guys, like probably JJ Barea, because Dennis Smith Jr. is out too. So probably JJ Barea would be the direct pivot for me if Doncic is out. D'Angelo Russell, just on a slate where there's much more appealing games, and 7.3K, I'm not taking a shot at him. Chris Dunn, you could definitely do this at 7.2. Cleveland, not a good defensive team. With Levine out of there, Chris Dunn, being a really high usage guy in the offense, I love guys like this that fill up the stat sheet. Doesn't have to score to get you there. He's going to pick up steals, blocks, assists, boards. So I do like Chris Dunn today. It's at 7.2K. It's just, in my opinion, there's slightly better plays here with the Kings and the Pelicans games. Let's see. Did I miss? Oh, sorry, we're at shooting guard here. My bad. Okay. So Kyrie, 9K. Yeah, I think he's okay. Kemba Walker defense not the best, but again, I just think they're better plays today. Same thing with Lillard. Lillard under 9K is a pretty appealing price tag, but again, I just think there's slightly better plays. One of those plays right here, De'Aaron Fox at 7.7K. I know he's priced up, but man, the over/under of 240. The game should stay close. I love, like, the Pelicans and the Kings are two of the teams I love seeing on the docket because both of them play no defense and they're playing against each other. So this is just, I want to lock and load a lot of guys from this game. So I'm all about Fox as well here at 7.7. So D Rose listed as questionable. We got Jeff Teague is already out. So we're going to have to kind of wait for news right now. If D Rose ends up missing, then Tyus Jones would be a pretty good value play. I think you'd probably have to play him because he would just be locked into some good minutes. So again, we'll wait for news with D Rose. Lou Williams, man, I really wish he wasn't priced as high because I love playing Lou Williams, especially here against Golden State. It's just, man, 6.4K for Lou Williams. He rarely plays more than 30 minutes. I want to play him, but it's just, he seems a little priced up, but he has a huge upside anytime he takes the court. Lonzo, can't do it with Rondo back. Let's see. Now, Clarkson's an interesting play here. We got Rodney Hood out and the Dellavedova questionable, so a couple of these Cavs could be out of the rotation. One is for sure. Clarkson now seeing some pretty consistent minutes, so I definitely think he is viable here at 5.9K. He's a pretty high usage guy, so I think Clarkson, you definitely could do it. Ingram, with all the Lakers guys healthy, I just don't want to do it, especially in a bad matchup against Memphis. The Miami guys in this big of a slate, I'm just kind of just crossing out all Miami guys. Just the rotation is too inconsistent. I kind of talked about it in my last video. It's just, you really can't trust Miami. Like, Spoelstra's just going to go with a hot hand, and it's just too big rotation. So right now, I'm staying away from Miami. JJ Barea, again, if Doncic ends up missing, I think Barea would be a pretty good play here at 5K. Alec Burks could be asked to play a few more minutes here. 4.4K, that's not a bad price tag for Alec Burks. The Clippers guards, I know the matchup's pretty good here against Golden State, but it's just hard to trust. Doc Rivers, again, right now is kind of just going with a hot hand. SGA, the last 4 games, 21, 38, 19, and 33. So how can you trust these minutes? If he's playing bad, he's not going to get the minutes. So I just can't do it with any of these cheap Clippers guards. I really can't on this big of a slate. Like, probably one or two of them might have a good game. Beverly, same thing here. You can't trust the minutes. 30, 31, 25, 19. I can't do it. As far as these really cheap guys, Brunson, I guess if Doncic misses too, I would probably be asked to play some pretty good minutes. 3.6K, that's pretty cheap, so I guess you'd look there. Okay, let's move on to shooting guard. Let's see here what we're not talked about. So Buddy Hield in a revenge game. This looks pretty appealing, and he's been playing some great basketball of late. 56 and 43 fantasy points the last 2 games. Now, I wouldn't chase that. Like, I don't think he's going to put up that big of a game, but man, in a revenge game, Pelicans don't play a whole lot of defense. I think Buddy Hield looks definitely really appealing here at 6.7K. Klay Thompson, yeah, okay, 6.5. I think that's pretty fair. He's going to shoot the ball a ton. I think he's okay. I think I'd rather prefer to play Buddy Hield. Let's see. So we got Bogdan Bogdanovic. So, like, about a week ago, him and Buddy Hield are priced about the same, and I still think they're basically like the same player. So I could take the bit discount here, Bogdan Bogdanovic over Buddy Hield. I know maybe he won't play as many minutes, but he's a high usage guy when he takes the court, and Matchups ideal, 5K. I don't know. I might take the discount on Bogdan here. But Buddy Hield, you can't go wrong with either. So I just love this game. I definitely think you have to get a lot of pieces from this game today. Let's see here. As far as these really cheap guards, shooting guards, just nothing really that I feel comfortable with. So yeah, I think we can move on. Small forward, LeBron. Meh. I really respect the defense of Memphis, so I don't want to play LeBron today. Durant now, that's a pretty interesting price here. 9.4K, it's just way too cheap for Kevin Durant. So I definitely think you can do it today. The price is really appealing. And then you got Paul George, he's just been playing out of his mind, and he continues to go low-owned every single night. 43 real-life points back-to-back nights. Don't expect that to continue, but Paul George, he's been amazing here. So I think it's definitely doable. 9.2K, he just seems too cheap right now for what he's been doing, how he's been playing basketball. I know Robert Covington, pretty good defender, but right now Paul George is matchup proof. So definitely think he is viable as well. Tobias Gallinari, if this game stays close, it's going to be because of these guys, probably Lou Williams as well. So I definitely think you can do Tobias here at 7.6K. And same thing with Gallinari at 6.9. I definitely think both those guys are certainly viable here. Just the concern is, can they keep it close? If they keep it close, it's going to be, again, because of Tobias, Gallinari, Lou Williams. Those guys are going to have big games. So I definitely think those guys are viable. Let's see. Phoenix, I'm too concerned right now with that triple overtime. They're going to be too tired. So I'm just staying away from Phoenix, kind of crossing them out. Well, at least the guys that played the big minutes, I'm crossing out. So be elite. This is so frustrating with the Kings. I can't stand Dave Yeager. Look at this. 22, 35. Yeah, that 5, that was when they just didn't play the stars at all. 23 and 36. How can you trust these minutes? They're so inconsistent. I know Bagley's out of there. I want to play Bielitsa. It just, man, it's hard to trust these minutes. He could just get limited to 20 minutes. You don't know, but if he plays 35 minutes, he's a great value play. It's just, are we going to get 20 minutes of Bielitsa, or are we going to get 35? I don't know. It's hard to trust with Dave Yeager. Let's see. I still don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, sorry, but he had a bounce-back game, 33 fantasy points, so I think he's a pretty decent player against Phoenix. They don't play a whole lot of defense, 4.2K. He's kind of up and down, so it is a little hard to trust. Let's see. CD? 4K for CD looks pretty cheap, but they're kind of limiting him a bit here. Man, I don't know. CD Osman at 4K. That just seems really cheap to me. As far as these cheap small forwards, it's not a whole lot to like. So let's move on to power forward. And how can you go wrong with Anthony Davis? The only thing that can go wrong here is if he gets injured, which is probably, honestly, like, no joke, like 30% chance that he leaves the game with an injury. But Anthony Davis, 11.5K. It just seems too underpriced in this type of matchup. So I'm all about Anthony Davis. Julius Randle. I love Julius Randle as well. Again, with Mirotic out, Alfred Payton out, Mirotic doubtful. I don't expect Mirotic to play. It's just Randle is basically a lock and load play for me here at 7.8K. It's just too cheap for his role in this type of matchup as well. So I really like Julius Randle today. And then you got Nance, who I've bet on a lot recently. Now he's priced all the way up to 7.5K, but man, centers against Chicago is a strategy that I like targeting. So I think Nance is definitely still doable. I think he's going to be very low owned. I love playing this guy because he fills up the stat sheet, doesn't have to get you there in the scoring department. There's probably a couple other better plays with Randle, and then with Draymond, who I'll get to, but I think Nance is okay here. Let's see. Yeah, Draymond Green, just, again, he's too cheap. 6.4K. 6.3K is way too cheap. You put up 40 fantasy points. If this game stays close, he's going to play 35 plus minutes. I'm locking and loading Draymond Green. 6.4K is way too cheap for him. And then you got Montrez, who I know he only played 19 minutes. That was a blowout. But this is the spot. This is the type of game Montrezl Harrell is going to do really well in. A small ball, up-tempo game. My only concern is the Clippers have been using Gallinari a little bit here at the 5, so maybe maybe his minutes get cut a little bit, but again, this is the perfect game environment. And the thing I really like is he's starting to hit his free throws. He's really struggling a couple weeks ago from the line, but 4 of 7, 7 of 8, 2 of 3. Like, as long as he can hit like 60, 70% of his free throws, that's fine, because he's really aggressive as an offensive rebound department. So I do really like Montrez here at 6.1K. Again, I just think it's the perfect game environment for him. Some of these, like Harrison Barnes, I think you could look to if Doncic is out. I think he would be a pretty decent play. But again, I just think there's a lot of good forward plays. So I think my direct pivot, if Doncic is out, would probably be J.J. Barea. Let's see. Saric, Taj Gibson, they just switch off, playing decent minutes and having good games. And it's just, I don't want to take a shot at either of them on a slate like this. Let's see. Daniel Tice. Let me look at Boston really quick here. Where is Boston? Okay. So we got, let's see. Baines is out and Horford is questionable. Upgraded probable, guys. Horford is going to play, so you can't really do Tice. But Horford, 6.2K. If his minutes don't get limited, I think it'd be a pretty good play here. Cody Zeller, I like targeting centers against Charlotte, so I think Horford could be a pretty good play there at 6.2K. But again, there's a lot of forwards I like with Randall, Anthony Davis, Draymond, Montrez, so it could be hard to get him. But all right, let's see. As far as the really cheap guys, so Holmes. Okay, so he didn't play a whole lot of minutes in this triple overtime game. So I think Holmes would be one guy from the Suns who I would target today. Big guys against Brooklyn. I've been targeting players against bigs against Brooklyn all year, so I do really like Holmes. And that the Suns seem to want to give him, 15 to 20 minutes a game. He's a high usage guy off the bench, priced under 4K. I think Holmes would be the one Sun that I do have interest in today for salary relief. Let's move on to center. Vucevic, so I was all about him against Chicago. He's one of my core plays on Friday. Put up 58 fantasy points. So this guy's just been playing great basketball this year, and Vucevic and Whiteside, when they match up against each other, they both usually have pretty big games. So I think Vucevic and Whiteside definitely doable today. Whiteside under 7K looks pretty appealing, but again, Spoelstra just doesn't seem to want to play him in the fourth quarter, so it is hard to trust. But if for some reason Whiteside does play in the fourth quarter, I think you could have a huge game here at 6.7. Nurkic, 6.8. I love playing this guy, but I just think there's slightly better plays, but 6.8K is really cheap for Nurkic. So if you want to play Nurkic, I'm not going to talk you off him. I love playing Yusuf Nurkic. Let's see. Cat, I really respect the defense of Steven Adams, so I'm not playing Cat. Steven Adams could be asked to play some pretty big minutes here because Minnesota does run big. So I think he's doable, but he is priced up to 7.4K. And I just think there's better spend ups today. Let's see here. Cheap centers. Jarrett Allen, maybe. Probably would be asked to play some decent minutes to guard DeAndre Ayton, but I just think there's better plays on the board today. Really cheap centers. Okay, so Zubac, if JaVale McGee misses again, and if he picks up a start, I definitely think he is viable. So we're going to have to kind of wait for news there. I wouldn't expect, 38 fantasy points from him again, but if he picks up a start with McGee out, I think, he's going to play 25 to 30 minutes and maybe get you 20 to 25 fantasy points. So I think he's definitely doable here if JaVale McGee is out. Okay, so with that being said, let me get into my core plays for today. All right, so I just love this Pelicans-Kings game. I'm going to try to get as many pieces from this game as possible. So 7.8K Julius Randle just seems a little too underpriced here. And then let's go with Draymond Green, who 6.4K. That is just way, way too cheap for Draymond. So I'm all about him. I'm all about Montrezl Harrell as well. Just too cheap. This is the perfect game environment for him. So I really like Montrez. And let's just continue with this Kings and Pelicans game. Fox, 7.7K. I know it's priced up a little bit, but I just want to get as many pieces from this game as possible. And then the same thing with Jrue Holiday here. I know he's priced up a bit, but I just want to load up on this game. So as of right now, These are my core plays. You know, my recommendation, try to get as many pieces from this Pelicans Kings game as possible, and also the Warriors Clippers game is pretty appealing. The one concern is, can the Clippers keep it close? If they do, I think a couple of these Clippers guys like Tobias, Gallinari, Montrez, Lou Williams could have pretty good games. And then we're still going to have to wait for some news. You know, if Derrick Rose is out, I think Tyus Jones would be a lock and load value play. If Luka Doncic is out, you could look. My probably direct pivot would be JJ Barea, but you could look to a couple of secondary Dallas pieces. You know, Harrison Barnes, Wes Matthews, a couple guys like that. Jalen Brunson also be a pretty decent value play if Doncic is out, and I think Horford also a pretty decent play at 6K, but I just really prefer some of these. You know, just really targeting these high over under games. So I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying this content, please like this video, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave in the comment section down below. It's also important to follow me on Twitter. That will be in the description below. I will give my thoughts as more news comes out, so really important to follow me on Twitter. And we got, let's see, we got no games on Christmas Eve. So I will be back on Christmas for a video on Christmas. We got a nice 5-game slate, so I will see you guys in a couple days.